pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leah, do we have any public comments?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All right, we move down to agenda item 4, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. A consent agenda includes approval of our minutes from our December the 6th council meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 5, consideration of a motion to approve a lease agreement to provide office space for Representative Rick Allen for an additional 2 years with no rent assessed. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, this item was on the last agenda. The Congressman's lease expires at the end of this month, and you asked us to check on paying for other space. And what we found, we did some research, and the other offices are, one is located in a park that you have to pay for, but in 2 of the communities that the Congressman has an office, they're located in public buildings and they do not pay rent to the municipality for those spaces. And so based upon our findings, Mayor and members of the council, we would recommend approval of the lease, which has been in place for a number of years, as submitted before you for the Congressman's office in our building.
Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Then we move down to agenda item 5, consider our public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application SE 22-11-01. Modestine Jones Harden requests a special exception from Article 25 of the State Flood Zoning Ordinance in order to place a manufactured home on .33 acres at 433 Mincy Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, if you can give us some insight on this.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant requests a special exception from Article 25 of the ordinance in order to place a manufactured home on the lot. Now, the reason that they need a special exception is because it's a manufactured home and it is not going into a mobile home park. And because it's on a privately owned lot, it needs a special exception for us to review the application. Currently, the property is mostly vacant with a small dilapidated shed. The applicant meets all necessary lot sizes and potential setback requirements. And you can see the lot as it's outlined in red there. And the future land use map shows this to be in a designated residential redevelopment area. The current zoning map shows it to be in the R10. And you can see the subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the north is on the bottom right. Property to the east is on the top left, and the property to the south is on the bottom right. Staff does recommend approval of SC 22-11-01. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of the special exception does not grant the right to develop on the property without adherence to the city code and approval by the Department of Planning and Development. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, the commission recommended approval of the application and associated condition with a 4-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone here to speak for the request? Anyone here to speak against the request? All right, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion?
What district is this in? Mincy Street.
One.
What is this?
1.
One. Okay.
All right, seeing that there's no discussion, is there a motion to approve with staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let us show that agenda item 6 has passed. We'll go to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application 522-11-02, Habitat for Humanity of Bullock County requests a variance from Article 7A, Section 703A, subsection A of the Statesboro zoning ordinance to allow for the development of a single-family home on a .12 acre property located on West Inman Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, if you'll give us some insight.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The applicant requests a variance from the required lot size of property in the R6 zoning district. Specifically, the lot is approximately 5,227.2 square feet, which is below the minimum lot size of 6,000 square feet as per Article 7-A, Section 703-A of the Statesboro zoning ordinance. Currently, this property is an undeveloped lot surrounded by small, single-family homes. Most of the lots in the area are less than the required zoning. Therefore, the intent of the applicant is to construct a single-family home utilizing insulated concrete forms. You can see the lot there on West Inman Street outlined in red. The future land use map shows this in the area designated as the downtown area. The current zoning shows this to be in the R6 zoning district. The subject property is on the top left. The property to the east is on the bottom right. And the property to the west is on the top left, and property to the north on the bottom right. Staff does recommend approval of V 22-11-02. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of this variance does not grant the right to begin construction. All building must be reviewed and approved by the city. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, the commission recommended approval of the application and associated condition with a 4-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone here to speak for the request?
I'm just going to comment with, that this has actually been a long time coming. Habitat for Humanity is very happy to be building this house. This is on a lot that we got from, in partnership with the Blue Mile Foundation. In fact, they used some of the winnings from the America's Best Communities to help us buy this lot. So this is something we wanted to do a while ago, but COVID kind of got in the way. So we're just glad to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Is there anyone here to speak against the request? I see that there is none. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any council discussion?
Glad to see housing going up.
One thing, this is the one that they wrote about in the newsletter, the new concrete type construction, right? So it's something new for Statesboro, helpful innovation. Go back and tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yes, this is the company is actually donating the forms that we're using to build this house. It's a new technology. It's basically like a Lego set made out of styrofoam, and then it has the little grooves that you put the rebar in, and then they pour concrete in it. So it becomes a concrete wall wrapped in styrofoam. So it's self-insulating, and then so the only thing we have to put extra insulation on is the roof, and then we put stucco on the exterior. It will be very, it'll be in terms of strength, structure-wise, it will be very strong, very resistant for like tornadoes and stuff like that. And then on top of it, will have just an incredible R rating. So, as far as I know, there's nothing like it in Bullock County. So, thanks.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 8, public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application SE 22-11-03. Mike Cruz requests a special exception from Article 9, Section 901 of the Statesboro zoning ordinance in order to relocate the Lions Den Barber Shop to the existing building at 518 Gentilly Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. The applicant requests a special exception in order to locate a barber shop in an existing building at 518 Gentilly Road, which is generally not allowed use in the O Office District. This property is in an existing building which has for a number of decades contained the Lions Den Barber Shop as an existing non-conforming use. As noted on the subsequent maps, the property is divided by individual parcels for the units, which is generally not a practice outside of the downtown. So what has happened here is that the owner of the barber shop moved his location, and therefore when he moved into what is designated as an office district, he lost his non-conforming use. And therefore, this petition is to grant a special exception to allow a barber shop in an office district. Okay. So, you can see the site, which is outlined in red there. Future land use map shows this to be in an area designated as neighborhood center. The current zoning map shows it in this office district. And you can see the subject property on the top left photo. Property to the north is shown on the bottom right. Property to the east is shown on the top left. And property to the south is shown on the bottom right. Staff does recommend approval of SC 22-11-03. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of this special exception does not grant the right to develop on the property without adherence to the city code and approval by the Department of Planning and Development. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, the commission recommended approval of the application and associated condition with a 4-0 vote. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Candy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So this whole strip mall is designated office, are you saying?
Yes, it's in
And
the
so is
office
it
zone.
always that? Because he's always been,
But he was he was pre-zoning. So he arrived
Okay.
pre the office designation. So we got grandfathered in.
gotcha.
And when he moved, he lost it. That's what happened.
And all he did was move from
Yeah.
like
Two
202
doors,
to
which
204.
is crazy.
That's-
Yeah,
that's all he
it's
did.
crazy.
It's
Yeah, he
crazy.
shouldn't have.
Yes.
He shouldn't have to be doing this again, but.
So he just moved into another unit in the same complex?
Yes, exactly
Yes,
right.
the
That was
complex
zoned
that was
off.
next to him wanted to expand and they needed his place, so they asked him to move, he just moved over one.
Well, remember you working with all.
And then realized it was.
Ordinance.
Right.
Old ordinances.
Yeah.
So I share your pain. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna work through it.
The only change you're gonna see is lines in here, moves to here.
All right, that being said, is there anyone here to speak for the request?
He's in Colorado, I
Okay.
promise you. He let me know today.
Anybody here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion? I'm assuming not. All those in favor with, staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Take it.
All right.
Aye.
Is there a second?
Take it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we move down to agenda item 9. Public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 22-11-04. Ball Company LLC requests a zoning map amendment from the R20 LI Single Family Residential / Light Industrial Zoning Districts to the R6 Single Family Residential Zoning District in order to construct approximately 69 single-family homes on 32.16 acres of property at Timber Road. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, if you will.
Yes, thank you. This property is currently a wooded lot with a mix of wetlands and no development. There is a Georgia Power easement located on the property near the city limits on the far west of the property. This property is immediately adjacent to the existing In the Grove subdivision and the proposed Brian's Landing development, as well as the existing Oak Hill Drive. So you can see this property outlined in red here. And it will have one means of egress on Stockyard Road, and the other means of egress will be on Timber Road. The future land use map shows the site to be in a area designated as established residential neighborhood. The zoning on this is basically, it's a combination of a PUD and a R20. The subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the north, which is across the street, is shown on the bottom right. The property to the southeast is shown on the top left, and the property to the northeast is shown on the bottom right. This shows a site plan of the site, and you can see the two means of egress, one on Stockyard and the other on Timber Road. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 22-11-04. If this petition is approved by the Mayor and City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the site without approval. All construction must be approved by the city. And 2, the applicant must utilize GDOT metrics for the inclusion of right-left turn lanes on Stockyard Road and shall ensure adequate site distance is provided. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, December 6, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of the application and associated conditions with a 4-0 vote. That is my presentation. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kathy. Is there anyone here to speak for the request?
Hey, I'm Evan Bennett with SCA Bell, here to represent the developer. I won't take much time, so I wasn't able to attend the planning commission hearing, but from what I understand, there wasn't a whole lot of opposition or concerns for this. I believe one of the concerns that the city engineer raised was traffic in the area. So we have no objection to the condition of providing a trip generation study to figure out if any turn lanes are needed on Stockyard Road. And obviously those would be the responsibility of the developer if they are warranted. Beyond that, you know, we're obviously across the street from an existing school facility, so that is going to add to some traffic concerns. But one of the things I think we have going for us here is the proximity to the school. That makes it a prime opportunity for students to walk instead of having their parents drive them to a drop-off lane. And with 69 lots, plus or minus, we wouldn't really be adding that many cars to the drop-off lane, I wouldn't expect. So, and we can come up with some numbers on that if we need to. If there's any other concerns, I'll be happy to address your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone here to speak against the request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion.
Mr. Mayor, let me ask Ms. Field to remind me, this is a residential development, it's not townhomes, so how much trees do they have to leave?
Just what's in the existing tree ordinance, we have very few regulations for residential development. And as more of these single-family residential developments come through, I'm working with our consultant to see, in anticipation of, our zoning ordinance isn't done yet, obviously, so in anticipation of that, to see if we can't put some conditions of zoning down as these single-family R6 developments are coming in. We seem to have, the trend for townhomes seems to have dissipated, and now the trend for R6 developments are now coming in. So at this point, aside from the tree ordinance itself, there isn't any other requirement for residential development. And so that's something I'm hoping to correct in the future.
Yeah. It could apply depending on how quickly they begin construction, how quickly we get things through. But for now, it's just the tree ordinance, which is what percentage green space?
There's no percentage for
This-
single
no,
family.
this-
John can actually speak a little bit more
Yeah.
on that.
Councilmember Barr, for single-family residential, there is no consideration for that. Simply put, the way the ordinance or our regs stand right now, they could clear cut all of that, and they construct all the homes on the, for this type of development.
Wow.
But that's why we're working on our regulations
Improving it.
right now, yes, ma'am.
Right, and I am looking to establish a condition of zoning that does include putting back some trees, just like we did with the town hall ordinance. Okay.
Yeah, just one thing I would, when I read these, it's like existing uses, and it's like, oh, it's not doing anything now, but trees are doing something, you know, they're cleaning the air, they're absorbing water, they're helping all of us. So we're sacrificing, so I know we need housing, I don't want to vote against it, we need more housing, and we need to preserve more trees for the better health of all of us.
We're kind of working together parallel at the same time, trying to incorporate that into this type
Right.
of development. of
Yeah.
This zoning.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council?
Thanks, John.
Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-42, a resolution to approve an application for a grant by the Statesboro Police Department to the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget, Public Safety and Violence Crime Reduction Strategies in the amount of $514,492 for the purchase of technological equipment. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, the police department is asking for your authorization to submit a grant application to the governor's office of planning and budget. The use of the funds would be for some technological equipment to aid in our efforts to reduce crime, violent crime, and specifically, we have a license, it would allow us to use it for license plate reader cameras, additional core processors for the Fusus camera system, and some gunshot sensors that are integrated into the fixed license plate readers. And what will happen, the license plate readers and the gunshot sensors are on a lease program. And this grant would pay for that technology annually through 2026. And the Fusus cores will be owned by the city. So it will help us with our technology, and we recommend you authorize us to, the police department to submit the grant.
Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Was there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. This is the last meeting of the year, y'all.
Hell, yeah.
Moving on to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-43, a resolution to approve an application for a grant by the Statesboro Police Department to the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council in the amount of $5,000 for the purchase of Noloxone, Narcan. Mr. Penny, if you will.
Yeah, Mayor, again, we're just asking for authorization to apply for that $5,000 grant. And for the public might not know, Narcan is used for people that may have taken some drugs, and it's used to help save lives. And so I think we're doing it, using it now, and these will help us continue to fund that program. We recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-44, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a Georgia Department of Transportation local maintenance and improvement grant application for the East Main Sidewalk Project. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, man, this is a grant, and LMIG is actually being used we're applying for funds to deal with some storm drainage. I talked about storm drainage earlier down on South Main Street, but in this case, we're talking about out on East Main Street, and the storm drainage would be included with some sidewalk improvements as well as dealing with the storm drainage. And it's part of a larger project. It's budgeted about $700,000, and we recommend approval of the submittal of this grant request.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve an agreement with the Bullock County Fire Department for the use of the city's fire training facilities. Mr. Penny.
Yes, Chief. Mayor, members of the council, do you remember, I know the mayor and Councilmember Barr were included in discussions with the fire district committee, and one of the things that we have the fire training ground, and we never had an agreement for the Bullock County Fire Department to actually use the fire training ground. And so the Chief Tim Graham and the chief for the Bullock County Fire Department, along with Ted Wynn, got together, Jason, and worked out an agreement for the use of our fire training ground. And basically, there's no cost to them, but what the agreement does is outlines the conditions under which they would be able to use the fire training ground. We own the fire training ground, but it also indemnifies us in case someone got injured while they were there. It also identifies what they're responsible for when they're there, what supplies they might need, and things of that nature. And so we recommend to you approval of this agreement. I do want to just make council aware of the fact that the county did meet today, and this item was not on their agenda. And we have no indication that there was an issue. I think that the meeting today for the county was more of an organizational meeting with the new council members being sworn in. And so I'm comfortable in recommending to you that we move forward with the approval of the agreement in anticipation that the county would approve it at that next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to authorize the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding and agreement between the city of Statesboro and Bullock County for the bus stop shelter installation project. Mr. Penny.
And Mayor, obviously with us about to launch our transit system, we want to place a bus stop, a shelter on property that's owned by the county, and this agreement will help approve that. And so we do recommend to you the approval of that agreement with Bullock County.
Any discussion by council?
Yeah, just briefly, the bus stops, just afterwards, can I get the locations of where the stops are actually gonna be? Because
We can.
I only see a couple of those.
I'd like to see that too.
So we'll send it to all of them.
Thank you.
We'll send it to you in email.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Claxton to provide mutual aid assistance for natural gas services.
Mayor, members of the council, the city of Claxton has asked us to work with them as they have an employee that is going to be on medical leave, and so they're asking us to provide assistance under mutual aid agreement, and we are willing to do that for a period of 6 months. And we have a good working relationship with Claxton. And so we needed you to approve us doing that for the city of Claxton, and we would recommend approval of this mutual aid agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Seems like this is kind of agreeing to be backup if they need us, being good neighbors.
Yeah, but it might be a little bit more than that if that employee isn't
That's in the schedule, how much
isn't
more.
available. We might be a little bit more than backup, but again, it's a mutual aid, and there may be some long-term opportunities to help them as well as the area starts to grow. So it's a good way for us to work with one of our peer cities.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? Seeing that it is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Leah, did you catch that second?
Yes,
Okay. All right, we move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to approve a pay plan for the Statesboro Police Department and compensation adjustment for certified public safety employees and a $3,000 pay adjustment for certified law enforcement and fire personnel, and approve the use of $818,844 in ARPA funds for the next 2 years. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, in 2017, the city approved a pay plan for the police department. We've been adjusting that pay plan, and Chief keeps me constantly posted on what's going on in that marketplace, and our HR director has done a compensation study, and for that reason, we come before you today to recommend that you approve a new pay plan for the police department. What we found, and Chief, I'm not putting Chief on the spot, but everybody likes to use Savannah as the as the example, but Savannah is a different animal. But when we look at some of our peer cities that are closer in our size, we found that we were behind. And so we wanted to, first, we don't want to be behind those peer cities, so we need to be competitive, and because we are in a tough labor market for police and fire, but I'm going to tell you, we're in a tough labor market for all of our employees. But under current circumstances, I'm recommending to you that you adopt a new pay plan for the police department, and which will get starting pay for police officers at $43,600 some. Then I'm also asking that you would raise each employee's salary by $3,000. And the reason to do that, when we raise that minimum, and if we didn't move everybody, we would cause compression in the pay ranges. And so we're recommending that increase for the police, and we're also recommending that for the fire employees. Part of the reason we're doing it with fire employees, they're having some of the same issues, but the fire department is on our pay plan, and I'm not recommending removing them from our pay plan, and we can't move them up. We can't move them around in the pay plan without messing up our pay plan. So, but we can move their salaries up, and they will receive the increased compensation. All of this is eligible to be paid for by ARPA funds. We had ARPA funds that, we had some that were left over, and so we're also recommending that we make an adjustment, a reduction of about $500,000 from the wastewater extension program in order to ensure that we can pay for this increase for the next 2 years. Beyond the next 2 years, we would anticipate that we would have growth in our market and in our property values, that we would be able to hopefully absorb the increased costs. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you this: we are also recommending that by the end of 2023, we need to begin a process of doing a new pay plan. And I'm gonna recommend to you that we do a new comprehensive pay and classification study for all of our employees. And the reason I'm saying that to you is this labor market is getting ready to get hot. And I say that because with Hyundai coming, all of our employees are going to be, they're going to have opportunities. And if we're not on our game, we're going to lose our employees, and we don't want to do that. And so tonight, I'm asking you to approve the pay plan for the police and the compensation for police and fire at $3,000 level, but then to come back later with a recommendation for a new pay and classification study for all city employees before the end of 2023. And recommend this for your approval.
All right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I think we need to definitely be clear with the public, because in social media, I noticed that there's been some conversation in and around policing in the city of Statesboro. And this is what I want to be abundantly clear. The issues that the city of Statesboro is facing, nearly every city across the country is facing. We have law enforcement officers that have the opportunities to go into other spaces and make more money at state level in larger cities. And so that's what we're having to compete with. And then you couple that in our area that we're at the precipice of seeing a tremendous amount of pay scale upgrade because of the plants that's coming into this area. And ultimately, we want to make sure that our officers, our firefighters and so forth have the opportunity to have rewarding careers, but they still have to take care of their families. And so we have to be abundantly clear, the city of Statesboro is not immune to anything that's going on across the country. And I think a lot of times we're in our echo chambers and we think that some things are unique to our city when it's not. When we had the National League of Cities, this was the #1 conversation there. How are we going to keep and retain great police officers? And I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, this is going to fix everything. But what I am saying is that we're going to make an effort to make sure that our people are taken care of and that we are able to compete. So with that being said, I do want to thank the council for their support in supporting our public safety.
Mayor, the only thing I would like to say is that this would be go into effect for the first full payday in January.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, basically, what I understood in advance, and I think you've just confirmed, we're talking about bumping all of our police officers and our firefighters by about $3,000 apiece per year, starting in January, and increasing it for the new hired positions in order to make us more competitive with surrounding areas. And we're gonna use ARPA funding to do it for the next 2 years, because it's allowed. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm sorry, man, they specifically call it enhanced compensation for public safety.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And I would like to say, we're not just looking out for police and fire.
Yeah.
Starting in January, we're gonna start something for everybody that works for the city. Or look at the pay plan.
Well, we're gonna come back to you, and we want to do a comprehensive pay study for all city employees. But I also want to be clear, y'all have done a lot for city employees because you've been adjusting the pay. You also have, the past 2 years, you've been doing the pay for performance. And all of those things are important. But at the same time, we are going into a tough labor market. And it's not gonna be easy if we don't look at our pay to make sure that we're competitive. And because, again, you don't make any products, we don't make any products. Our most valuable asset are our employees, that human capital. And y'all have been committed to making sure that they're paid well.
One more thing, Mr. Mayor, and Mr. Petty, just confirm for me, this will require taking some of the ARPA funding that we had talked about using to convert sewer systems under waste treatment, but we think that can be made up from T-Splosh, so we're still gonna be able to bring in, not all of them, or some of them.
From SPOS.
From
From
SPOS.
SPOS, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
SPOS, not T-Splosh. So we're still gonna be able to get those old neighborhoods under city sewer, we're just reallocating where it comes from. Gotcha, thank you.
All right, thank you. With that being said, we want to go to agenda item 17, which is consideration of a motion to, oh, we voted? Did we vote? Yeah, we voted.
We got it.
Yeah, I'm smart, I hold my comments after the vote. We move on to agenda item 17, consideration of a motion to award a contract of engineering design of the North College Street Sidewalk Improvements Project to TR Long Engineering PC in the amount of $41,635. The project will be paid from 2018 T-Splosh funds. Mr. Penny.
Man, I'm not sure I can add anything to that. We recommend it to you.
Okay, all right. Any discussion by staff? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So,
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, consideration of a motion to approve a contract for engineering and design of the North Zitteroi Street Sidewalk Improvements Project to TR Long Engineering PC in the amount of $42,380. The project will be paid from 2018 SPOS. Mr. Penny?
Same thing, Mayor. I recommend it to you.
Any discussion by staff? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move to agenda item 19, consideration of motion to award a contract for engineering design of the Max Lockwood Drive Roadway Improvements Project to TR Long Engineering PC in the amount of $47,440. The project will be paid from 2018 T-Splosh. Mr. Penny?
Again, Mayor, I don't know that I can add anything. We recommend it to you.
Okay. Is, any discussion by staff?
yeah, Mr. Mayor, John, would you tell us what we're gonna do to the Max Lockwood Drive?
So Max Lockwood Drive is the northern border of the city park / Creek on the Blue Mile project. There's still work to be looked at for the city park. However, Max Lockwood has been repeatedly not used correctly. It's one way, people go the wrong way. Eddie Cannon, the director of Park and Rec, says routinely there are people going the wrong way. Tractor trailers go the wrong way. So it's, in my opinion, and to also help work with the city park project, to work with Park and Rec and design a two-way street to accommodate that traffic pattern for there. So with TR Long, we'll put our heads together and try to come up with the best. And also correct the intersections there, Trail Road and Center Island, to make sure they're correct with the transition to a two-way operation.
You say we can figure out now what we need there without all the Blue Mile, the creek stuff being figured out?
Yes,
yet?
ma'am, yes, sir. We're definitely, they want to retain the parking in front of Honey Bowen, for their customer drop-off, pickup, to do their business there. Then we're also going to enhance the right-of-way and provide additional parking in that area that's there now. Look at pervious paving, that sort of thing, to also provide parking that may be needed, because that's what's been discussed with the park component of the Creek on the Blue Mile. They've been looking for parking, and so there's some area there that we could identify, and through this process, we can work with the Creek on the Blue Mile project and help the city fix a traffic problem that we've had.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 20, consideration for motion to award contract to Jetback Equipment Company Incorporated for the purchase of a Jetback 900-ECO truck-mounted sewer cleaning truck for Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract in the amount of $440,000.01. This item to be purchased with funds approved in the 2023 CIP budget, item WWD-77, funded by system revenues. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, as you stated, it is in our 2023 CIP. This replaces a 20-year-old truck, and so we recommend approval of the acquisition. And we say Merry Christmas to Ward and Sue.
Good, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Has anyone test drove it yet?
Test drive because you haven't bought it.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 21, consideration of a motion to award the purchase of 300 water meter boxes to Core and Main in the amount of $73,173 to be purchased with funds approved in the 2023 operating budget fund with systems of revenues. Mr. Penny.
Again, Mayor, members of the council, I can't add a lot, but we talked a lot today about new construction and all that, and these meters are important to have in place as we install new services, and we recommend the acquisition for the city.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 22, which is other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
I just want to wish Statesboro a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Same here.
I second that emotion.
There you go.
I just wanted to ask a question, like with our, like when we're purchasing new vehicles, the old vehicles, what happens to those?
We will surplus them, and we dispose of them, which means we would sell them, but we have to come back to you before, we can't just dispose of them. You have to authorize us to dispose of them.
So you sell the old vehicles?
I'm sorry.
Do we sell the old ones?
Yeah, and we can sell them, or we can make them available to another community that might need them, or we might make it a reserve unit, like that 20-year-old truck. If it's still operational, we might hold on to it. But if not, if it's has some maintenance issues, we would then probably surplus it. State law dictates how we dispose of stuff.
Mr. Mayor, we could make note of the fact that the mayor's new committee, Healthy Borough Committee, which was formerly Squashing the Spread, were able to work with CORE and get a vax clinic at the library last Saturday, and administered 8 new COVID vaccinations and 15 flu shots. So helping to help make it easy for folks to get a vaccine and stay healthy.
Yeah, well, I was a flu. Yeah, a new flu. Yeah, okay. Any further business by council? All right, seeing that there's none, we'll go down to city manager's comments.
Mayor, members of the council, I have several items that I want to bring to your attention. So tonight, during the work session, and there were some items that were supposed to be on the agenda, and we pulled them off, like the art park. And then Councilman Boyd had talked about the hotel motel tax. And so what we're talking about is possibly doing a work session on January 3rd. So I just want to talk, I'm bringing it to y'all because staff is going to be here. But typically, we don't do work sessions at that morning meeting. So in order to accommodate a work session, it would be after the 9 o'clock meeting. Okay? So I'm checking in with y'all.
I'm wondering if we need to do, I mean, that's the only item. If they could just do a presentation during the meeting, I'm wondering why we need a separate work session. It's just for that one issue.
Those aren't action items.
It's
And
information.
typically, when we do it on a regular agenda, those are action items. And the work sessions are those where you're gaining information. And so the regular meeting might only have a few items, because so far, I know maybe 2 items that might be, and the mayor talked about one that he wanted to put on the agenda. So we may have 3 items. So it would be at the conclusion of that meeting, we would then go into the work session. And then we make the presentation. Shouldn't be a long work session. You would hear about the art park, and it just depends on the presentation on the hotel motel tax. Now, tomorrow I've been invited to go to a meeting with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Councilmember Boyan was also invited. Because he's ill, he's not gonna be able to attend in person. And so we will know more about what their interest would be, and we could share that with you at that meeting. But I'm just simply saying, January 3rd, it's a regular meeting, but if we would shift it to work session as soon as we finish the agenda items. And at this point, there are 2 items that I'm aware of that would be on the regular agenda. Y'all, don't look at me like that.
What you're saying is it's already gonna be a short meeting on January 3rd.
Is that a guarantee?
I can't promise you that. But at this point, I queried my staff today and asked how many items did they have, and they talked about 2. And those items might could wait, but I don't want to be disrespectful to Councilmember Boyan because he specifically asked about these items on the January 3rd. And then the only other item I might ask is, and I asked staff earlier, January 3rd will be the day right after we celebrate New Year's. And typically, we've been coming right back. And I didn't know if council might be interested in just shifting one day to that Wednesday, the 4th, but I know that might mess with your schedule, Mayor. But
You're not shifting no days.
so
And shift the time.
so January 3rd is fine with me. I'll be here.
So is there some type of urgency for this matter that it can't go on the third Tuesday of the month?
Yeah, my understanding was that the reason we gotta talk about hotel motel is because we gotta do what we need to do legally and get it on the agenda at the legislature. It has to be approved by the legislature, and that's gotta happen as early in January as possible. I thought
Exactly.
we were talking about doing it in January.
That's the thing, that the art part, whether we do that on the 3rd or the next meeting, that's where they hit or miss. The hotel motel tax is the thing that we really need to discuss. And we don't need to do it in a session because it needs to be an open conversation. And the best way to do that is in a work session.
But it defeats the purpose if we have a work session following the meeting just to talk about it, and we still can't do it till the end of to the next meeting.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I mean, if we're gonna vote on it as early in January as possible. Did I misunderstand something, Kane, about the process, about us having to adopt a resolution to approve it, and then it's gotta go to the legislature, is that right?
That's correct. If y'all do vote to increase the levy, then it would need to go to the legislature.
What's the deadline?
If we did
I
it
don't-
after the first meeting, we couldn't get it until the second meeting in January.
Right, but I don't know what any
We don't know
deadline
what
is.
the legislative deadlines
John,
are.
you know?
I don't know.
Phil was saying early February.
Early February, but I can tell you this, we don't wanna be late.
No.
Because if we miss it by that February date, we have to wait
That's what I'm
till the
saying,
entire
like,
year.
if we, like Sherry was indicating, if we can't vote on it till the 3rd Tuesday of the month, then what's the purpose?
Well, us getting it out of the way, if there comes a situation where we have to do a special call meeting, it allows us to have that time frame to be able to do that in regards to that topic. To me, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It's not, either we do it then, or you guys decided to do it in another space. My only input is that I would much rather get it out of the way. If we have to do an emergency meeting, we got the time to do so. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
So January 3rd,
Yeah.
it'd be a work session.
You better be sure.
But what's the point of having a work session in January? If the reason to do it early in January was to vote on something, then a work session following our meeting, we can't vote on anything.
But Ms. Barr, at this point, other than, I can't tell you that we're prepared to put on your agenda a
Mhm.
recommendation to adjust that hotel motel tax. Now, Councilmember Boyan has raised that. Again, I'm going to a meeting tomorrow to hear from the board members of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, because, and I hesitate to say, I'm not sure where they stand on that.
Mhm.
And so we need to hear from them, and then if they're saying move forward, then then it'd be a lot easier to say, we want to put that on the agenda for the recommendation, but today, I can't tell you that.
So we leave it open the possibility of adding to the agenda early January if that becomes clear.
And if that's clear and we have an agenda item, we can do that. We could do that for you. And I'm not saying that it couldn't be a part of the regular agenda. If we have that indication that it's something that, but it was, you would ask for it to be on this session, for a work session where we have a chance to have discussion and have a PowerPoint from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I will say, in communicating with Becky Davis, one of the things that they stress and her direction to me is, if y'all want to talk about it, you need to have someone from the ECA, and you need to have someone from the Georgia Convention and Visitors Bureau, because what they were very insistent upon is the Convention and Visitors Bureau cannot advocate, should not be advocating about the increase. They should only be educated. And so she was real clear with me about that. So that's the only thing. It's fine to put it on the agenda, but I need to know what we're gonna be recommending to you, or whether it goes on the agenda at all.
Okay.
So,
You know what? Do we need to have that determined right now? Can we wait until after the conversation tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Follow up?
I just need to, you and I can call,
Yeah. And then if we
and then I
need-
can
Okay.
communicate with y'all as far as, it will only help me be clear
Okay.
for January 3rd, if y'all would just say, okay, Mr. Penny, if we need to have a work session,
Yeah, let's do that.
I want
Yeah,
to plug it
yeah.
if I leave here, so y'all better let me know something.
Yeah.
Before I unplug.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's one item.
Okay, go ahead.
The other item I wanted to just mention to you, I want to call on Dominique Hallaby. Y'all, the council approved the small business recruiter, and you approved a contract with V. I can't remember all that name, and so Dominique wants to introduce to you our new small business recruiter.
Well, I am excited. I'm excited because this is a great way to end the year and to start the new one, right? So if you do recall, we went through a process in the fall for that contract, as Mr. Penny had mentioned. And I want to specifically thank Demetrius Vines and Olympia Gaines, also with Valerie McKelvin, who's our Small Business Development Center Director for this region, served on a steering committee to be able to identify top candidates for this particular position. Equally, we did a couple things different. Thanks to Mr. Penny's contact in Rocky Mount, a gentleman who's operating in this capacity for over 20 years, helped us structure the job description. So we used his expertise to be able to identify the right type candidate we need for our community to serve in this capacity. Then we asked him to just have a 20-minute conversation with the finalists and then call me back and give me a sense of, is this the type of person we should really be hanging our hat on? Well, he called me back more than 2 hours later, said that 20-minute conversation took well over an hour and a half.
Wow.
And he said I'm not gonna give you the details of the conversation, but in essence what he said was this gentleman that we've selected, he would recommend to replace him when he retires. So I am very, very excited about the position that we are in now and the leap forward we're gonna make as a community going into 2023 and well beyond. So I would like to introduce to you Mr. Alan Gross, maybe share a little comments. He is an individual here as a broker, real estate, commercial, he understands it, he works with businesses on the Downtown Development Board. So Mr. Gross?
Welcome aboard.
This is the first I'm hearing of the comments from Alan Matthews. No pressure, right? I know some of you from my dealings as being a small business owner coming before you to ask for variances, but by way of a formal introduction, my name is Alan Gross. I own a small business, but I'm also a commercial broker, or I was before I took this position. So a lot of the things that I've been doing in that field translate into this one. So I'm about to do that for you, just on a much larger scale. So I know it's the last meeting of the year, but I did want to give you a few details because there's some good news. I'm not here to announce that Sam's Club is coming. Yet, but here's some good news. So my start date officially is January 3rd. My parents tried to teach me patience, but it didn't take. So I actually started hitting the ground running on this already. Dominique mentioned my interaction with Alan Matthews. That is going to be a tremendous resource for me.
Okay.
Some of the things Dominique and I are going to have to build from scratch. But having that connection with Alan, he's already starting to give me pointers about you need to say this, you don't need to say that. He doesn't look at Statesboro as being a direct competitor, so he's happy to give me leads. And it's safe to say we hit it off from the beginning. So like 20-minute conversation was an hour and a half. A couple of things on strategy. I know that I think we're going to have it set up that I meet with you guys regularly for strategy sessions, but I want to go ahead and give you an idea about what I'm doing.
I love strategy.
So data, that's the tip of the spear, right?
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, you made the right choice rolling this position up through Dominique's group, because when I mention data, I'm not talking about census data. I already knew this coming into it. Alan Matthews gave me a copy of his data. It is a maddening amount of data. You need that. That's the tip of the spear. Come to Statesboro. Why? I need to have a why, and that's going to be built around that data. So the good news is, with Alan on board, also, we're not completely starting from scratch, and having Dominique's group that can capture that specific data, we're already off to a good start. That's the front end. There's a back end. Right? If I bring a company to Statesboro, it does me no good if I don't have a place to put them. So the back end is real estate, and there's some good news on that end also. So the single largest owner of vacant rentable space in Statesboro is Whole Properties. So in preparation for my interview, I called the number on the sign and bounced around a little bit and got the VP of Government Affairs who happens to have connection to Statesboro. Another case where we really hit it off. I didn't press him too much on details because right now I'm just about trying to build a relationship with him. But he's coming to Statesboro the first part of the year, and he wants to meet, to drive around to some of his properties, and we can discuss what he's doing on his end for marketing and what I can do for him on our end. So when you have the first part, how are you attracting those companies to Statesboro, and the back part of where they're going? One, we're getting the jobs into Statesboro that we need, and two, almost as importantly, we're getting some of that vacant space that we've been driving by for years off the market. So I want to make one last point before I end. The bulk of my time will be allocated towards going out into the world, finding existing businesses and bringing them back. However, I don't want to lose track of what I think is our most valuable commodity, and that's our own people, the people that we have here now. The small business owners, I don't have to convince them to come to Statesboro. They're already here. I might have to convince them to stay in Statesboro. I don't want to be in a situation where they think they're outgrowing us. And it's not just the small business owners. We have people, very clever people in this city working regular W-2 jobs who want to become small business owners. Dominique has assembled a hell of a team at a business innovation group to walk those folks through hand in hand through that process. I know from starting my own business, it's a nerve-wracking experience. I want to do my part to let those folks know that they don't have to do it alone. So that will be my task going forward. That's it. That's a brief introduction. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
I am so excited.
I
mean, this is where I vibe at. I love it.
I'm happy you're excited. I'm excited too. I'm very eager.
Good deal. Thank you. And
Thank you.
welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just, I'm telling you.
That's all good. Just a couple other things I just wanted to mention. Thank you, Dominique and Alan. You had a memo about the Fox Lake subdivision. That's one of your ARPA projects. And so that one went very smoothly. And I also want to call to your attention in the FYI packet. If you remember when we had our joint meeting with the county and talked about infrastructure, I asked for a map so I could see where their proposed utility district was in relationship to Statesboro. Staff has provided us that map, and it sort of puts it in context. So I want to call that to your attention. And the last thing I want to just mention to you, for 3 years, we've been doing and the mayor started this after doing COVID with the toy drive. And so we've been working with the Omegas, the Deltas, the NAACP, the AKAs, and city staff to expand that program. And this past weekend, we did our toy drop. We had over 50 families that had registered. We had over 200 people that came through to pick up toys, and we're still working with a couple of families. But it is important that we recognize that there were some private businesses that donated, and we were able to raise over $5,000 to help families in our community. And I hate to call names, but several of the businesses like BAK, Everside, NFP, Hussey Gaybill, Goodwin Mills, Kwood, those companies helped us, and we appreciate their help, and we will recognize them. And then we also had individuals that contributed money. The mayor put a call out for bikes. I don't know how many bikes we gave, Mayor, but I know we probably had 20-some bikes that we gave out. And then on the day of the event, we probably gave out an additional 30 bikes to folks that just came up and said their child wanted a bike. And I will say this, and I'm gonna stop, Mayor, but we had someone that was in line at 10:45 that morning to get something for their children for Christmas. And the little lady didn't even live in our community, but we're in an adjoining community, and she was disabled, but she wanted her children to have something. And the lady came in, she hugged me, she hugged other folks, and she started crying. And so that is so important, and this is the last thing, Mayor. On one of the lists for one of the children, all he wanted was a toothbrush and toothpaste. So a lot of things that we take for granted, we have to think about what people are really going through on a daily basis. All he wanted was a toothbrush and toothpaste.
Yep. And I will say this, if it seems like your mayor's a little passionate when it comes to the kids in this community, it's because I know what they're going through. And this is something serious. We got a lot of great things that's happening in our community, but we got a lot of people that need help in our community. And we see that with Feed the Borough, and the efforts that they're doing, the city of David, the efforts that they're doing. We got 700 people that's applying to get into public housing. There's a lot of great things, but there's another reality that's in the city of Statesboro that we have to be astutely aware of. Because if we're not helping all of our people, and let me tell you how I measure a city. I measure a city not by the number of rich people it has or wealthy people it has, but what are we doing for the people that's in the most vulnerable situation? And so when it seems like I'm being bullheaded about some things, I am. Because I know what it's like to have to, when you don't have anything. I know what that's like. And so we can't have a community that we put all our efforts into the people that already have something, and we don't do anything for the people that have nothing. And I think too often, especially in politics, that's what occurs. We don't think, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Tonight, we approved $818,000 pay increase for police and fire department. That was the right thing to do. But it was holy hell to pass $120,000 for the children in this community. Holy hell. And if we're going to do anything in 2023, we have to change that immediately. We have to start investing into our young people. Nobody, when we was passing that $120,000, all I heard on the political world was, what about the budget? On that same agenda, we passed $700,000 to buy police cars, nobody flinched. On this agenda, $800,000 for pay increases, nobody flinched. But $120,000 for our kids. And it was holy hell. We have to change. I'm not budging on that when it comes to our kids. I'm gonna fight for us to invest. I'm gonna continue to do that. I'm hoping that the council will join us on that. But we have to be very deliberate, because when you're talking about cutting crime, when you're talking about your workforce, you cannot do that without investing into children. And if a child is begging for a toothbrush,
Morning, Mayors. Now for a second, Marcus, would you please give us a good Christmas prayer? Sure. Answer those questions for us? Or at least send us in the right direction? Sure. I appreciate it. Is that all right with y'all? Sure.
Yes.
Father, we thank you for this day and your many mercies to us. And we thank you for the coming of Jesus and for the nativity and for the child that was born. And we also thank you for all the other folks and other spiritualities that are part of this community as well. And Lord, we pray that you would give us all a great Christmas. And yes, there's lots of poverty in this community and many other communities. And I know of communities that have it way worse than we do. And so, Lord, we thank you for the blessings that we have, even as we pray that those who are without, those who are hurting, those who are in need, that they be provided for, and that we remember them, and that you give us wisdom to know how to do it in such a way that we actually accomplish the thing that we want to accomplish, that our efforts are fruitful and do good and not harm. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I apologize for that. We'll move down to public comments. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make a couple of happy announcements on the part of Habitat for Humanity. We got a $20,000 grant to offer with Georgia Legal Services, offer will writing services for low-income homeowners. And the first priority will be our own Habitat for Humanity homeowners, but then the second tranche will go to the folks that the city is working with the revitalization, with the rehab project. Those people will qualify for as long as the $20,000 lasts. The other thing I want to say is that this is a maybe. We are applying for a, Habitat has asked us, and has sort of given us a special opportunity because of the nature of Statesboro and all that's going on here and the revitalization efforts and everything. They have asked us to apply for I think it's a $250,000 grant over a 3-year period to hire a social worker to do homeowner retention, minority homeowner retention, basically to help families who are at risk of losing their homes for whatever reason to keep their homes. And now, of course, once again, it'll be Habitat homeowners, but then also the community as well, and to help with homeowner retention. So hopefully we get that grant, but we're applying for it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any further public comments? Seeing that there is none, we will go into executive session in regards to personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right.